This is Aesop's famous tale, The Tortoise and the Hare. Long ago, in a little neighborhood of animals, there lived a tortoise, and there lived a hare. And although they were neighbors and they lived quite near to each other, they were just about as different as could be, in a number of ways. For example, the tortoise was really slow. He moved really slowly, and he even talked really slowly, just like this. But on the other hand, there was the hare, and there was nothing slow about him. He was speedy, he was rapid, he was here, he was there. He was a here and that kind of a hare. He'd go out, run over to the public library, check out 3 books, read them cover to cover, zoom, 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 zoom. He was always on the run, always on the move, always fast. But the tortoise was slow. And whenever the two of them encountered one another in the neighborhood, the fast-moving hare would tease the tortoise for being so slow. He would actually laugh at him. This is how he laughed. He even laughed fast. And the hare would say such rude things. Say, you know what, Tortoise, you are really slow and I am really fast. You know what, Tortoise, I could run circles around you. Circles nothing. I could run right under you and you wouldn't even know it because you cannot move your head fast enough to see me. The tortoise finally got a word in edgewise and he said, "Oh, yeah? Yeah. Because everyone knows hares are fast and tortoises are slow. I would love to see you moving your fastest. Maybe you are moving your fastest right now. You are standing still." Now, if you stop and think about it just for a moment, you'll realize that the hare was teasing the tortoise about something the tortoise could not control. I mean, he could not move any faster than that, so it wasn't very nice to tease him about it. Plus, I should tell you that the tortoise didn't even really care to move faster. He was very happy just as he was. Still, and I don't think this will surprise you, after a while, all that teasing really began to bother the tortoise. One day he just had enough. The hare just kept after him and after him. He said, "Hey, you know, it really would be funny. You know what would make me laugh? You know what I would find amusing? I would love to see you, a slow-motion tortoise, trying to run in a race. That would be so funny to see." And to his surprise, the tortoise looked the hare right in the eye and he replied, "I'm tired of your rudeness, Hare. I challenge you to a race." You in a race against me? All right, if it's a race you want, it's a race you shall have. 2 o'clock tomorrow, right here. You, a tortoise, I, a hare, we will run a race. Well, word of the race quickly spread through the neighborhood, and all the animals decided that they wanted to go and watch the race. Now, of course, they figured they knew how it was going to end, since the tortoise was so slow and the hare was so fast, but the other animals wanted to make sure that at least it began in a fair way. So they insisted someone besides the hare or the tortoise should set the two of them off on their race, saying, "On your marks, get set, go." The big brown bear who lived in a cave up on the hill volunteered to do that. So next day, when the time for the race came along, the bear stood up on his big back legs, raised up a big brown furry paw, and said, "Runners, on your marks." And the hare said, "What do you mean, runners? I am the only runner in this race. Tortoise is too slow to call him a runner. He's a walker. In fact, Tortoise is so slow you cannot even call him a walker. Tortoise is a stander still." Then the bear raised up that big paw a little higher still, and he said, "Get set, go." The instant the bear said go, the hare just took off at unbelievable speed, like he'd been shot out of a slingshot or something. In mere moments, he was out of sight up the road. All you could see was a cloud of dust following along that dusty road as he zoomed away. But the tortoise, he wasn't fast like the hare. This is how he started off the race. When the bear said, "On your marks," the tortoise was on his mark also. He was there at the starting line. When the bear said, "Get set," the tortoise was set. And he may have been slow moving, but he was determined to give this race all that he had. So here is how the tortoise sprang into action when at last the big brown bear said, "Go!" Well, I got one foot working. Better put it down and start on another one. I never ran this fast before. Greased lightning! Well, as he was just starting to move along the road, the hare was zooming along. But 5 minutes later, as he was running, the hare said to himself, "Hey, why am I running my fastest and knocking myself out when I'm racing against the tortoise? I'm already halfway to the finish line. He has probably only taken 5 or 6 steps." And to see if he was correct, the hare came to a screeching halt, and he turned around and looked back along the road he'd been running on. "I can't even see the tortoise yet. That's how far behind he is. Gee, I wonder how much of a head start I have over him. Think I'll run up on this big green grassy hill over here and see if I can see where the tortoise is from up there." Up he ran quickly, the way he did everything quickly, and when he got to the top of the hill, he looked back along the road again and said, "Even from up here, I can't see the tortoise yet. That's how far behind he is. That's how far ahead I am. I got all day to win this race. But I've been running so hard, and I climbed this hill, too. Since I got all this time anyway, I think I'll just sit down here in the grass for a moment and just kind of catch my breath." But the grass beneath him was soft and deep, and the sunlight all around him on that summer day was warm and relaxing. And before you know it, the hare got a little too comfortable up on that hilltop. The hare fell asleep. He fell asleep in the deep green grass, snoring. But while he was snoozing on the hilltop, old Mr. Tortoise kept moving along that road, slow step after slow step, the only kind he could take, of course. The hare had reached the hill in about 5 minutes. The tortoise, well, it took him nearly half an hour to get there. But unlike the hare, he didn't stop for anything. He just kept going. And about half an hour after that, suddenly, a loud noise woke the hare from his sleep. He leaped to his feet atop the hill. He said, "Huh? What? What's going on? I must have fallen asleep. And I hear a noise. What is that? That sounds like people are cheering and clapping. Hey, I wonder what that means." Well, being up on that hill, he could see a long way, and he turned and he said, "I see what it means. I see the tortoise. He is nearly to the finish line of the race. He must have kept going while I was asleep up here. What woke me up is that all the other animals waiting for him at the finish line are cheering him on. I cannot lose a race to a slow-moving tortoise. I got to catch up and win this thing." And determined to do that, he came shooting down off that hill, moving faster than he'd ever moved in his whole fast-moving life. But the hare had been too sure of himself. He had waited too long. Before he could get there, old Mr. Tortoise slowly picked his foot up one more time, slowly set it down one more time, and it was the tortoise, not the hare, that crossed the finish line first. The other animals were cheering wildly while they picked him up on their shoulders. They carried him around in a victory parade, crying out, "Hooray for the tortoise! He has won the race!" As the hare puffed across the line in last place, all out of breath and very embarrassed at losing to a tortoise. And the tortoise looked down from atop the shoulders of the other animals and just said to him, "Well, hare, let that be a lesson to you. Slow and steady wins the race." So that is Aesop's world-famous tale of the great race between the tortoise and the hare. And now that you know one of Aesop's stories, go find the rest. Thank you.